face, you be like. When the bass drum hit your face, you. Drum hit your face, you be like. When the bass drum hit your face, you be like. When the bass drum hit your face, you.
fuck up.
The Scarlet Apex 2953 features racing prizes generously donated by the following. Racing fans in any racing class will win you one set of Stalker or Hunter disc mounts from Predator mounts. All 7 Hammerhead team members will win in-game items should they place in the podium. Both turret team members that place on the podium can win either Hawks and Mustang Vindicators, Furies or P-72s and more. And both duo team members that place on the podium can win either Hawks, Furies or P-72s and more. Good luck to the racers of Scarlet Apex.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to heat number 2 of the Scarlet Apex, hosted by Anzia Racing. I am joined once again this week by 2 absolutely fantastic people that you can't see on screen. I'm also joined by Echobit and Red Monster. How you doing, guys?
Oh man, that was what a diversion there. Yeah, doing fantastic. It's a great Saturday morning here in the States. I know, what is it? Are you guys up to Sunday over there in Australia?
It is just. We're about half an hour into Sunday at the moment.
My goodness, yes. The timing's great. I see racers getting set up on the lines. I'm excited about heat number 2. We had some exciting business last week in heat number 1, getting our first finalists there. So
yeah, definitely gave us something to expect over the course of today and the last couple of weeks. Echobit, how are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good about Heat 2. Excited to talk about the lineup today. Lots of interesting choices, but I'll leave that to you guys. Hope you all are excited to see more combat racing. The Heat number 1 went above and beyond my expectations, and I'm keen to see how it plays out here with a fresh new heats and bracket to compete against each other.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully we get a nice broadcast today. So I need everyone to cross their fingers for the entirety of the race. And if you uncross them, I will ban you from this chat for some reason. But yeah, you're exactly right. We our races are already starting to get ready, so we're going to tell you guys about everyone who we're going to be seeing today over all of the different classes. So let's get into that. Let's start with the Hammerhead class. See who we're going to see today.
All right. First up, with the Hammerhead class, we've got the Sanguis Luna, piloted by Secretus, Feifei, Rockhound, Big Abe, Volchrome, Blood Six, and Juicy. We also have Tuborg Corporation and Sire Imperium, all fielding their Hammerheads. We can get through the cruise on each of them as we move forward.
Yeah, Hammerhead class, at least last week, the most entertaining class. So I'm excited to see some more of that.
I am also curious if any of them are switching away from the scatter guns. You know, we saw the range limitations last week being an issue. Obviously, you expect to be a lot closer with those other Hammerheads, but it's difficult to get that level with the tight track that they're running today.
I will have to double check, but I don't believe you can actually. I think you have to run the scatters, because I think that's your only option for this one. So the big thing, though, is just I think it's the speed more than anything. But let's have a look at Sanguis Luna with their pilot Secretius and get a little bit of information about that pilot for you guys. So they got into racing from XGR. The fact that it's the most consistent functional gameplay loop in Star Citizen certainly helped. All they need to be able to race is the ability to spawn their ships and fly them around Stanton. Schwips. And fly them around Stanton. So racing remains playable and entertaining through dark days and rough patches. That's kind of how I feel, right? That's why I've been really into racing over the course of the last 2 years. So yeah, completely reasonable.
It definitely delivers a more consistent experience. Although I will say I've run into my own issues getting the checkpoints to work reliably. But once you know that track, you're in and out. It's a lot easier to manage that way. The races that they normally compete in is a little bit of everything, but for the more unconventional or dangerous the ship or track are, the more they are interested. So obviously taking a pick here and there of specific ships for specific tracks.
Yeah.
I
was going to that exact one. Same brain.
Dang it.
One of their claims to fame, most notable, is the flying in mouse and keyboard, which you obviously don't see a lot of. It is just as competitive in a lot of essences than all of these other styles, but can be a bit weird, as I'm sure the rest of us know. So for a time, they were the only holder of an XGR amateur license, back when the license system was based upon merit rather than participation.
That is quite an interesting claim to fame. What they're going to be doing on the release day of Star Citizen is go visit Stanton and take a trip down memory lane. And anything else that they'd like to say, plenty, but they're here to race, not start arguments. So maybe some trash talking going on in proximity chat.
Maybe some villains out there with the other Hammerheads for sure. That's fantastic. Let's move over to Sire Imperium. One of our other Hammerheads is going to be running there. This one piloted by Neojet. Our gunners are going to be Abaddon, Despoiler, Paconam, Salem Frost, E-Orban, Blizzard, and Daneval. We see these guys everywhere when we're racing, so it's great to see them pop into Scarlet Apex as well. Yeah, and they do try to get into all the races. What type of races do you normally compete in? All of them. Events of the community is the best part of Star Citizen. Hard agree.
Yeah. Now, their first racing ship was the Mariah Razor, but their favorite racing ship is the Mustang Omega. That's another one that holds I hold pretty close to my heart. Those exclusive hardware ships, they're just they've got some allure for me. The collector side is happy. Yeah. Claims to fame, more than fame. You just push to be the best.
Which is kind of funny because Neojet has a lot of claims to fame, and the fact that that's just the only thing. I mean, maybe we'll have to rescind some championships.
Incredibly humble too.
Yeah,
it's.
Yeah, what are you in it for? Fame, credits, grudge, etc. They want to make a pro team inside the verse is one of their dreams. That's something that I'm certain we're all very excited for, is in a couple of years' time when we have like real pro team. Like right now, it's just orgs throwing their best racers at the wall, and it's working. I'm waiting for those specific racing orgs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think we're in that golden age. Things are starting to formalize. We get events like the Scarlet Apex, like the Crux Cup, these organized community events where you start to see those top tier racers really stand out, forming friendships, developing some friendly competition, and potentially moving into a specific dedicated racing organizations that really help push it. You know, XGR and the ANZIA racing communities have done a fantastic job fostering those type of relationships.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move over to Turbo Corporation, our third and final Hammerhead for the day. This one is going to be piloted by the
just
Power.
Before we do,
Oh, yep, go ahead.
I want to shout out to NeoJet, and also Salem Frost, who appeared in the Super Dragon Tofu run. They are building a professional Star Citizen racing team, and as like a shout out to them, they got to appear in that machinima, the opening machinima, and you could see the second best pilot in the Super Dragon Tofu run, which we're calling Salem Frost for now. So they are building that team, and we're going to continue that series, and maybe we'll see them again for the next Super Dragon Tofu run video.
Yeah, hopefully it would be
On to
fantastic.
Taowu Corporation.
All right, so Turbo. So these guys are going to be piloted by Power of Thunder. Our gunners are going to be Akukuns, Just Moki, Romic, Cryptek, and Mac 32 Russ. What got Power of Thunder into racing was their competitive interest that brought them into racing. I really like participating in competitions. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. How they describe their racing style is tight. I feel like that's an important factor for today because the track is very minimalistic. You know, we have basically 4 pylons you're running around. It's a compact track.
Yeah.
So
very much so.
racing style definitely coming into
it's
play
practically a circle. It has like a lot of bit of nuance to it in a lot of the situations, but with the Hammerhead, it really is just how tight are you taking those turns? We saw last week Team CIG taking them quite wide, and that probably cost them the win. So
and after 20, 30, we had up to, what was it, 126 laps in the Fury LX.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing there. What wins the race, the ship or the pilot? And I would say I agree with them here. Victory depends on the pilot's skills.
Not wrong. It's always the ship. I was contracted to say that by CIG. I have to keep saying what will they do on the release day of Star Citizen? On the day of release, they want to fly in their Polaris filled with racing equipment, meeting the most long-awaited event of all Star Citizens, conquering the most beautiful landscapes on a dive.
All right. Final things to say to the community: never stop there, and always do only what you like. Yeah.
It's wholesome. Everyone's like answers to the community or like things they want to say to the community is always very wholesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the turret class, or the Taowu class. I believe Taowu. I'm really bad at pronouncing words.
Taowu.
This is the turret class. Awesome. Once again, we have Turbo Corporation. They're just everywhere. It scares me. We also have the Rumblebees and Happy Haulers. And what's that right there? What's that I see on my screen?
Is that a freelancer? There's some story behind that.
Yeah, that is a freelancer, and that's who we're going to be starting off with Happy Haulers. Pilot is going to be Ace Nightmare, and the gunner is going to be Succubus Jenny. What got Ace Nightmare into racing? I saw a video on Reddit of a Hull A, their favorite ship, running the Snake Piss. My first thought was, I could do it faster. Love it.
Yeah. Now, the races they normally compete in, I like space races. As cargo ships, I like to race, and not always easy to keep in the air in Atmo. So definitely affects your choice of track going for these cargo ships specifically. And honestly, the fastest cargo hauler, little Han Solo vibes, right?
They're Claim to fame, they hold a top 10 time in the Hull A on Stargazer Pass, which I do love. So they're very keen on the Hull A. We're going to have to start running some Hull A only races, I think.
Yeah, and I think the Dur is a nice replacement there since it does have the turret gunner for him. What are they going to do with release day, Star Citizen? This might be a surprise to you guys, but they're going to be running cargo. And their advice to the Star Citizen community: the racing community are the best people in the verse. They support my meme runs and help me get faster. So thank you for accepting my silliness and taking me seriously, even when I don't.
Nah, you take yourself seriously. It's fine. We'll see you at the finish line, I'm sure. Let's move on to Turbo Corporation once again. These guys, like I said, are everywhere. This time they're going to be running the Anvil Hurricane. And we have the pilot Fedicol with the gunner Riz E. Fedicol we've been seeing a ton of in a bunch of events recently, so great to see them pop up here as well. What got them into racing was the inaugural race at the Tank Bank. Let me tell you, drifting in a tank in a bowl is very fun, and I even won an STV for taking the first place. Hell yeah. We do love some tank battles here.
Dude, you and I have participated in a couple of tank battles before. I think that's been, when the Nova tank was first released, everyone was running in their own tank battles, and now it's an official Arena Commander mode. Obviously, people really enjoying that. Claim to fame have been in the top 2 positions on SCR ground track leaderboards since December. Won first place in this year's Crux Cup in the A-Crux with your dear friend Tint, and got an LTI M2 as a prize. The only SCR track creator who does hover bike tracks that are not susceptible to broken hover bike physics. That's an interesting concept there. The fact that you do need to design these tracks around how the terrain and the ground vehicles operate with each other.
Yeah, very much so. Big one. Their favorite racing ship is, of course, the Nova Tonk, which, makes sense. And their favorite racing ship to fly is the F8A Lightning. Are you getting some privilege that we're not here, Fedicol? Is there something we need to know?
I was gonna say a little out there on those, but the one thing they'd like to say to the Star Citizen community and those who are fans of the Expanse might recognize this, but Tenya Wash Ket Good Beltalota means good hunting, and I agree.
My favorite thing about that phrase is it sounds like you're saying "get good." So
yeah.
It's
within the Expanse, the Belter Creole, it always takes on a bit of kind of some similarities to English. Tell me what's good. Tell me what chesh good. Pretty good stuff.
Fantastic. Let's move over to the Rumblebees in the RSI Scorpius. This one's going to be piloted by Space Chameleon. Their gunner is going to be Captain Nicole. What got Space Chameleon into racing? My wife, and with the announcement and release of 318, I brought something new to the verse with implementing the actual tracks to the PTU and PU. I wanted to do something new and branch out normal mining, bunker missions, etc. that we usually do. We had a lot of people talk about this last week as well, where the introduction of the racing maps in 318 really started to get people into the game, and 317, all that sort of stuff. And now with Arena Commander, more and more people getting into racing. So it's good to see the conversion rate is working.
Yeah. The first racing ship originally got the Mustang Omega pack back in 2015 with a purchase of a Radeon, AMD Radeon GPU. I have since purchased the Fury LX, going from one fast ship to an even faster one. Now, you've had some time with the Fury LX.
Yes.
What is your opinion on that ship?
It certainly seems to be the only ship worth racing in zero gravity at this moment, which could be an issue. However, in atmosphere, it certainly has its pros and cons. It's not the fastest in atmosphere, but in my opinion, it's the easiest to go fast. You know what I mean? So in an actual racing situation, still a decent choice, but the Merlin's so fast.
Merlin is speedy. What they'd like to say to their fellow racers or the Star Citizen community is good luck on today's race. Can't wait for the next race to see you all in.
Fantastic. So that goes for our turret classes. Let's move on to our single seat races, our duo classes, our Qiongqi classes. We have Sanguis Luna again, Flash Freezers. I like that logo that they've got there. And once again, turning up in force, Turbo Corporation with a bit of a unique loadout that we haven't seen for this section today. So let's get on into it. Firstly, we'll just go over Turbo Corporation. These guys are running the Ghosts. No racer profiles from them, so absolute best of luck to you guys. Really curious to see how the Hornet goes here, but I do still believe that it's got the crazy G-force. I would say bug, but it doesn't feel like a bug at this stage anymore. So it's gonna be able to pull those turns pretty quickly. But the question is, how is it gonna do against Fury LXs? It's gonna be
absolutely
very interesting.
And how well that stealth component is going to be within the race here. It's a tight track. They're going to be in close quarters, and obviously, so stealthy. We are missing racer profiles for them. But good luck out there with the Hornet Ghost.
Yeah, very good luck, guys. Also, as a quick one, not to mention the firepower that you get from running the Hornet. So very interesting. We'll move on to Flash Freezers. Here's some people I know. So Frozen 6169 and Quelsa, friends of Anzia and everyone else alike. What got Frozen into racing was they were influenced by a fellow streamer to join in on Snake Pit. I've got to imagine that's Splen. It's always
it's peer pressure. Peer pressure. The first racing ship was an AUC bought Mirai Razor for the Snake Pit before it was made into a racing contract. And their favorite racing ship to fly is the Fury LX. Now, they're running the standard Fury today, going for those weapons, rather than the LX, which is purely for speed.
Yeah. And we saw last week the Fury LX can pull off a lot of laps. So it could be very interesting what happens here. I think it's very important to remember that with those Hornets on the field, it does change the game quite a bit if they do get into a situation where they do have to, fight for it this time. So things could certainly change. Claims to fame, not done any racing events nor broken records outside of it, but you need to mention something. I'm a 2 times consecutive Evocati test champion since 318. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable claim to fame.
Yeah, Evocati test champion. Honestly, it's not a title I was aware that existed, not being an Evocati myself, but I tell you what, getting in there, having some first crack, and delivering valuable feedback to the developers, good on you. Good on you.
Yeah. We'll move on to Quelsa. We got a lot of people in the duo class to get through, so we'll move on to Quelsa. What got Quelsa into racing was Arena Commander and the XGR Discord community race tracks. A reminder, guys, only a year ago, there were no racetracks in the game, right? So a lot of the stuff that a lot of these guys came from was all these community racetracks, and it's good to see that community pop out.
Yeah. The favorite racing ship to fly is the Razor for its smooth atmosphere control and beautiful racing lines, and the inspiration from Formula One vehicles. You'll see Quelsar out there in that Razor pretty consistently out on his Twitch stream. He's one that certainly has taught me how the ship functions. I watch him for inspiration. So.
The grid is set, so we'll go over these last 2 teams really quickly, guys. I'll take Sanguis Luna. So Sanguis Luna, guys, we have Dunk and Scuttled. These guys are going to be running the Fury LX. Oh, sorry, this is the last team to talk about, rather. But yeah, Dunk and Scuttled running the Fury LX. Dirk got into racing from Scuttled, which is awesome to see. So Scuttled introduced them to XGR, and it took off from there. First racing ship was the Razor, which taught them the skills they have today, but their favorite racing ship is the AM50, one that we don't get to see very often as much at the moment.
Yeah, and a claim to fame there is that they were one of 2 racers featured in the action shots of Morphologist's first video about Star Citizen racing.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that actually, got put into racing from that video. So thank you, Morph. It was an awesome video to watch for sure. And when are we going to see Morph in one of these events? There's the next question.
I know. Get some participation there.
Yep. One day they'd like to be on the broadcast around the Star Citizen universe while competing in a race. I think we all like that. That'd be fantastic. And they want to win against their rivals and former teammates in Black Star Racing. Now, Black Star Racing aren't here for this heat, but I mean, we've been seeing them around, so maybe we'll get.
We did see them last week. I think they had a couple of participants. So hopefully, I don't recall who made it through Heat 1 there. Perhaps we've got a scoreboard coming up soon. Next with Scuttled, I got into racing because back in 2015, with the thoughts of what racing could be, didn't discover the racing scene until recently when they found SCR.
Yeah. Their claim to fame, Morpho just featured me as a racer because he somehow thought I was good, lol. Yeah, look. It was still a good video, okay? You are a good racer. You hear? Just prove yourself today. It'll be fine. What are you in it for? It's a rush. Quantum rocket fuel straight into the bloodstream. Maybe the ability to fund more racing ships.
Yeah, and the advice for the fellow racers and community: good luck out there, lads. Don't shoot me, and may you crash harder than I do. Amen.
Fantastic.
I feel like that's worth noting. We did see a lot of collisions last week. Mm-hmm. Some debris being left out on the track, and it's something I think that the racers are going to have to watch out for, especially if we have an event with those hammerheads just leaving a lot of material behind.
Yeah, definitely. It was an issue a couple of times. The hammerheads themselves also had a couple of collisions and some issues, but they're also the ones getting hammered the most by the distortion weapons that we're going to see over the course of today. So as a quick reminder, guys, before we get into it, which we're pretty much just about to, this is not just a race, it's a combat race. Weapons are hot, but those weapons are specifically distortion weapons and EMPs and whatnot. So only able to disable ships, but it turns out when you disable a ship in an asteroid field, bad things happen. So that's it's that's the deal. And
nothing wrong has ever come from losing control of your vehicle in confined spaces. Okay, it's a combination of speed, luck, and immovable asteroids. So I think we're going to see some potential opportunity there. You talked about the Hornet Ghost in the duo class. I feel like bringing in that type of firepower, maybe it's something that can catch up with the Furies. We saw last week those Furies were very difficult to keep track of. Right, they were passing by the Hammerheads, and it was just like a swarm of bees going past. But hopefully with a little bit better firepower, we might see some combat within those smaller ships.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, obviously the Fury LXs are just going to be running around as fast as they can. Last week we saw the LXs were able to get 126 laps, as we mentioned earlier, and they were leagues ahead of their competition. But the Hornet it introduces a variable that we're not super sure exactly what's going to happen, because it's a really unique event, right? Anything could happen. And then next year we get to change this based on what happens today. So what I expect to happen today is a lot of good fun carnage with the Hammerheads once again. Very curious to see how the Freelancer does in comparison to the Scorpius and the Hurricane. The Hurricane performed excellently last week. And then, what are these Hawks going to do?
Do you feel like the Freelancer is going to be, is the factor here the fuel capacity, or is it going to be just the overall resilience of maybe a little bit larger hull comparatively?
Well, that's the thing. So it is much less maneuverable than the Hurricane and the Scorpius are. So if anything's going to make a difference, it's going to be the fuel. For those who aren't aware, these guys do 1 hour of laps. They get as many laps in as they possibly can, and that's how you determine who wins. So in that instance, there's going to be instances where these guys are going to have to refuel. You will notice with some of the smaller ships, they won't bother with refueling. They'll just crash into an asteroid and spawn a new ship. Yeah. But for ships like the Hammerheads and probably the turret gunner ships, they will run back if they need to. So, yeah.
And that does save you the trip back to Grimhex. Obviously, cutting one of those legs out, we will probably see people doing those intentional crashes at the end of a lap, just to get a fresh vehicle out onto the track a little bit faster. Now, before we get in there, we did want to give a quick shout out to our event security. Anzia Racing would like to welcome the Ragtag Mercs as supporters of this Scarlet Apex. The Ragtag Mercs is a mercenary organization fit for hire. Should you need talent, hire a squad. You need numbers, hire them all. Thank you for the Ragtag Mercs providing today's security.
That is my favorite ad read of all time. I love it. Thank you, security. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's formation lap time, which means we're essentially just about to start. So let's hear some hype in the chat. Who do you think's going to win in each of the categories? Remember, this is heat number 2, but the actual finals, the championships, won't be until November. And that's what these guys are competing for a spot for some of those awesome prizes. Echo Bit, are you excited? Heat number 2 about to get underway.
I'm so excited, and I think we've finally figured out cameras for this event. Look how beautiful this shot is,
Fantastic.
but it's actually working. I'm so happy to see it running smoothly. The Hammerheads moving together with all the other racing classes. We are a truly multi-class racing event. We've got all of these single seats, turrets, and Hammerheads racing at the same time. They've got to do one lap right now, and then just before they get to the start-finish line, the race director is going to call green flag, and then weapons will be enabled and the race will be underway.
Yeah, and we did reduce the number of cameras, hopefully cutting down on some of the technical issues we were seeing last week. Obviously, we're out here, we want to get the best views possible, and I think we're already delivering it. You just watching those Hammerheads, and they're easy. I mean, it looks like a slow and easy gate around these pylons, but I'll tell you what, they are actually fast. And we have our first collision there with one of the Hammerheads scraping the paint with one of the other ships there, right at the green flag call.
It happens. It happens. Especially, I feel like Anzia events are cursed sometimes. Someone is always bound to crash during the formation lap. But that's also one of the reasons we have it. So here we go. We're off, ladies and gentlemen. As we wait to see what's happening, I'll just get predictions from you, Red, and you, Echo Bit. Let's go with the Hammerhead class because we got to see a lot of that. Who do you think is going to get there in the Hammerhead class today?
Ooh, you know what? I feel like the Stormbringer paint
I'm waiting for yeah, the Stormbringer paint. I think I can't tell which one's Sanguis Luna, but I'm waiting for them. They're a really amazing pirate group that signed up to this race. And
we're seeing our first exchange of fires. All three right on top of each other here.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
What an exchange out there.
off the
You know
line.
these guys are just trading shots one after the other, and they're going to be tightly grouped for at least the first couple of laps as they work on positioning. And these angles we're getting behind this event are fantastic.
Looks amazing. Yeah, and we've already got our first couple of fastest laps, guys. Around 30 seconds is what we're looking at the moment for Scuttled and Dirk. And that time will only decrease. So watch out for those over the course of the likely, once again, 100 or so laps as we continue on. This fight is fantastic to watch. This is,
well, and
man.
you've gotta believe
What a
that there
crazy
might be
start to the
some
race.
collusion. Yeah, some collusion out there. A 2v1 with the Hammerheads. That may be the way to go for it. Pick one target, try and get them knocked out, and then face off 50-50 with your enemy of choice.
Direct a comment from Jez at the moment. Safe ship has exploded. I repeat, the safety ship is no longer safe.
The safety ship is no longer safe. Obviously, we'll get them back out on the track. We are just within the first couple of minutes here, so a lot of time to make up. And some debris. Wow, you watch those ships just barrel past each other.
Yep. I love it. Yeah, in terms of who I think is going to win today in all of these categories, I do give special privilege to anyone who brings a skin to the event. And we have a ship destroyed from Quelsar. Quelsar has exploded. And they had only done 2 laps, so it was likely a couple of laps ago, unfortunately for them. So that's going to cost them. In that division, what we saw last week is that likely going to cost them 10 to 15 laps, unfortunately.
Yeah. And, get it done early. Unfortunately, you do have to come back out. You're going to need to refuel still. We saw some collisions last week during the midpoint of the race that kind of also helped bridge the gap with one of our refueling pit stops. So, poor timing on that. We'll see if Quelsar can get out and make up the time.
Yeah, hopefully. So at the moment, Scuttled in the lead for the duo division. Dunk following Frozen 6-1, 6-9, a lap behind, and Zorian on that same lap. In the lead for our turret division at the moment is Turbo. And then in the lead for our Hammerhead division at the moment is Singuis Luna. But obviously, the Hammerhead division all pretty much right on top of each other. And it's going to be like that for a while until someone explodes or until maybe we see a little bit of skill.
Got these views coming through of some of those exchanges with the lighter vehicles. Obviously, it's a lot easier to see the Hammerheads, but you get in there with some of the light fighters and trading shots like that. It's an exciting time. Hopefully, we see a couple of ship disablements that push them off track. Love to get in there and see the results.
Yeah, it's something that just because of the way that the distortions and whatnot have been working over the course of the last year, we haven't seen as much, but definitely still something. Now, Neo Jet with a little bit of a problem there. They're going to have to repeat a checkpoint. We had this happen a couple of times last week. When you're in sort of this big chaotic arena, especially when you've got 3 Hammerheads flying around you trying to eliminate each other, sometimes you will miss these checkpoints. So, losing a little bit of time there. Maybe they can bring it back.
And the most impressive thing is this brilliant blue splash of those distortion weapons, making contact across the hole there. Hopefully putting in enough damage to make those Hammerheads a little bit more weak, susceptible, and obviously just the motion on these deceptively smooth. They just look like they're lazing through the water, but these guys are really roaring around this track. I'm sure those pilots are maxing out their boost, putting G-forces out there that are just something to struggle against. And it's a tight track again. Yeah, I think they're executing well.
So we're 11 laps
I also
in.
want to shout out Oleg,
go ahead.
who is providing such incredible point of views.
Yeah.
Messes some camera skill I wasn't expecting. Also, Oleg is from Toggle Corporation, so yeah, thank you so much, Toggle, for bringing a whole bunch of people to help, staff this event with cameras and your own combat fleet. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we love seeing Turbo in every event, and I swear they are in literally every event. Doesn't matter who runs it; they're always in every event, and it's great to see them pop in. But yeah, we are 12 laps in, 6 minutes in, so it does look like it is going to be about that 120 lap-ish number by the end of the day, assuming no issues. So that's probably what we can expect, at least from the Fury LXs. But I've got to say, at the very least, the other ships in the duo class have not had many troubles, like actually keeping up, right? They're not laps and laps ahead. They're only really 1 lap behind. So
yeah,
these Hornets are not doing too bad today.
Keeping the distribution there. And we do see some of those lighter vehicles. It looks like the Envil Hurricanes out there occasionally taking shots on the Hammerheads as they make a pass. Perhaps a little more within class firefighting there. The Hammerhead is a distracting target, but I'd love to see how some of those faster racers pull this engagement together. And as we see, is that the Hammer or the Hurricane passing up the Hammerheads there?
Yeah. One team that maybe they've had a crash that we missed or something is the Happy Haulers, right down the bottom at the moment, plus 4 minutes 22 seconds. So I will assume that there's been an incident there, most likely, because while they are a lot slower, I don't think it's going to take them 5 minutes to get around that lap. So we'll see what they can do once they come back in, and then Turbo that brought the Hornet Ghosts. Corvinius JC also looks like they must have had a collision or something at one point. Oh, Quelsa has crashed again.
Again, that's an interesting one. And Gentleman J did have a ship crash.
From Gentleman J, crashing out. I don't know if it was him crashing, or we'll have to ask him. I'll DM him real quick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Quelsa having another issue there. And then I also just want to point out Zorian, who is our other Hornet, currently actually competing pretty heavily up there in the top 4 of the duo class at the moment. So a lot of room for them to come back here. and try their hardest. But it's so hard to beat these Fury LXs.
Yeah, definitely. They are fast. We saw them just spinning laps around everything else last week. Hard to get some weapon time on them, but maybe we get a 2-on-1. A couple of those folks ganging up, trying to put at least one of those laps a little bit slower.
Now, here's a question: do you think we're going to have the same situation that we had last week, where the Hammerheads themselves are a hazard? We got that fantastic view of the Hurricane, I believe it was, ramming into one of the Hammerheads on a tight turn.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to happen again?
I think it's going to happen again, and we may have just saw a little bit of a clip there getting off track with the one Hammerhead. I do think these Hammerheads are going to become potential hazards within the racetrack.
Yeah, especially some of these turns are quite tight. If you come around in it, especially in the Fury LXs or even the heavy fighters, and you're sort of you preempt for the turn sort of thing. If you're a little bit late and you're not exactly sure where the Hammerhead is, you may end up inside the Hammerhead. You may end up an extra turret gunner.
Extra crew. Yeah. The Fury, it just pops on like an extra gunner turret. It's basically what we see out of the Fury with those gunner turrets.
Yep, definitely. So 18 laps at the moment. Dunk in the lead, followed by Scuttled. Followed by Scuttled, Zorian, Turbo Corporation, Frozen, Sanguine, Turbo Corporation again, Sire Imperium, Quelsar, Happy Haulers, Rumblebees, and Corvinius, with currently no laps completed. So not 100% sure what's going on there. Hopefully we'll get some confirmation from you guys exactly what's happened. Maybe there was an issue, not 100% sure. But they do have their teammates still on the field with Zorian. And remember, in the duo class, you just need one of your teammates to get that number one spot for you guys to advance.
All right. We see some additional just great views being delivered here. So thank you very much. That was Oleg, right?
Previously, yeah, Oleg.
Oleg is currently on, yep.
Fantastic views as these Hammerheads engage, trading shots. Of course, we got some other views coming in from the safety ship, those in the chase, and our pit crew there. We see Sigillian front and center screen. A great support staff here as part of this event.
Yeah, and if you guys ever want to try to help organize one of these events or help run one of these events, feel free to join the Anzia Discord. And always good to have more helpers, especially to run events like this where we need camera people and we need race directors and commentators and all that sort of stuff. So yeah,
and you know what? I feel like they've gotten two of the best looking commentators they could have.
Did they? I didn't see that.
Yeah, they start next week.
Of course. While I'm at CitizenCon, of course. Speaking of CitizenCon, while we're watching some of these laps, guys, CitizenCon is a week away. We excited? This is the first live CitizenCon in 4 years. Oh,
yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Oh, we're seeing some shots back and forth there. That
seemed like an explosion camera
like
thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Definite collision of something there.
Yeah.
CitizenCon, obviously for those coming in early, Friday night before the event, there's going to be a large Bar Citizen event at the Guardhouse, which is just around the corner there. So if you're in town, I know myself, with my local Bar Citizen group, we're actually carpooling the 10 hours from Salt Lake City down to LA. And we're excited about that. Arriving with a couple hours to spare before that Bar Citizen event, and returning after that. I gotta say, I am excited about the VIP studio tour. I spent a couple of nights up till 2 a.m. making sure I could try and get in for that VIP. I lucked out and was able to get a ticket, but those were the hot tickets, I think, for this event this year.
Yeah. Big news just now: Scuttled with a collision, currently in second place. So that's going to be pretty brutal for them. Hopefully they're able to get back nice and quick. We know that they can run around the laps quick, but can they get back? That's gonna be interesting. But yeah,
That recovery.
the event's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm personally not going on the VIP tour. I didn't get a ticket, and I'm very sad about it because it sounds like everyone got a ticket.
I will tell you, there were some ways that worked to get tickets, and it's it worked for some. Obviously, they had their own technical issues on the first couple of rounds, which made it more difficult. But with something being that limited, obviously they don't have room for everybody. This is going to be the most attended CitizenCon event ever. I saw that from Captain Zylo. So obviously expecting a rather large crowd. We saw the event schedule, a map with some blocked out areas there, a little redacted details. So I'm excited to see what's going to be delivered.
Maybe we'll see some more ships that we get to put in this event next year.
Yeah. I think it's a life-size Gladius.
I'd love
we'll
to
see
see
that
it.
at CitizenCon.
A life-size Gladius.
I want to see the Perseus, the Polaris, maybe a capital ship come out, and then we can really go ham with the multi-crew class.
Everyone just runs the Idris with the railgun. That's it. It's one person in an Idris with a railgun.
That would be amazing.
And that's the other weapon. There's just constant.
I know my org is excited about capital class gameplay coming up. I've got a Polaris that I secured during the last ship sale, and honestly, we're excited to get out there with the multi-crew capital class, bringing in support ships in the future like the Galaxy with the onboard refinery. Obviously, that speaks closely to my love out there doing mining. So
yeah. So we've gotten a little bit of a lead from Sanguis Luna now with the Hammerhead. They're now 2 laps ahead of the entire Hammerhead crew. So quite a big deal. That's a very large lead. We didn't really see much of that at this stage with the Hammerheads last week. So huge performance from Sanguis Luna there. Sire Imperium and Turbo Corporation practically right in front of each other, 1 lap behind. Make that on the same lap now, just as I mentioned that. So a little bit of infighting there, and we're getting a ship destroyed from Space Chameleon.
No.
And rejoined the race following an issue from earlier. So they're actually coming back in now, it sounds like.
So we are 15 minutes in right now. Dirk and Scuttled, both with the Fury LXs. Dirk with 28 laps, Scuttled with 21. Just barely ahead of Frozen, who's actually in the standard Fury. So Frozen's delivering 20 laps. 21 to 28 laps on that. Dirk is having a very clean run so far. At 15 minutes in, 28, we're looking at about 120 laps total for this run. That does not account for right now the refueling time. They'll need to make a pit stop.
Oh, that was a good explosion just there.
Oh, fantastic view right up front.
Great capture, I like.
Yeah, fantastic. Corvinius off track, so it does look like they're back on the track at least, so they're getting some laps in now. I do want to point out, kind of what you said, Scuttled essentially just barely in front of Frozen. Scuttled did explode pretty recently, so this is Frozen's opportunity to get ahead there, but they're still going to have to compete with Dirk, and really hard to compete with the LX.
A 9-lap deficit right now. 9-lap deficit behind Dirk. Obviously, Dirk and Scuttled, only one of them needs to bring in the top spot. So Scuttled could bring it out. Does Scuttled take the other play now and start being more aggressive? Looks like Frozen did pass him up. We'll need to keep an eye out for that. And of course, yes, Space Chameleon with the ship destruction there. And we see these Hammerheads just trading fire. That is... There's the brilliant blue splash of this distortion damage really just sells the point that it's wild out there.
Yeah, there's a ton of hits trading there, but they're able to get around that corner and get ahead in that commotion. So
and also around that debris, we've got the remnants of a previous contestant there.
Yeah, definitely. You can see just how short range these weapons are, but when they do hit, dear Lord, you do not want to be anywhere near them. So much distortion damage coming your way.
Delivering a crap ton. And obviously, with distortion, hitting vital components there will put your ship offline for quite a while.
Yeah, definitely. Lovely to watch. So leading each division at the moment, Dunk leading for Team Sanguis Luna. We have
Luna.
Turbo Corporation leading for the Turret division, and Sanguis Luna again leading for the Hammerhead division. So we may, I mean, it's obviously still early days. We're just barely 20 minutes in. But we could have a corporation. Oh, what was that? That just fell off that Hammerhead.
I love to see the debris. That I think that was wreckage left on the track that they just kind of skittered off of. Obviously, doing their best to avoid the majority of it. But it's like that guy from the Titanic that hits the propeller on the way down. You're gonna see some of that little third-party action coming in.
Always good to see the competitors do some cleaning up of the track. Very nice of them. But yeah, we may see a corporation take down 2 divisions today and continue to advance. Ace Nightmare has had a ship destroyed, presumably from the debris based on that comment. So this debris is starting to become an issue. Interestingly, I would have expected the debris to become an issue when the Hammerheads started getting eliminated, but they haven't been eliminated yet. All 3 of them have been active the entire race so far.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of the Hammerheads perform what I call a self-elimination. They've been keeping up here. And, it's, like I said, it's a very tight, compact track. But overall, they've been running clean lines, making pretty good time of it. So I think this Hammerhead division will be a tight contest today.
Yeah. Now, we do have a fastest lap there of 17 seconds. I am going to hazard a guess that might possibly have been a mistake.
Accurate, but they might have pressed it early, yeah.
Yeah. But regardless,
what I tell my race timers
fast.
is, if you press it, even if it's a little bit delayed, at least the lap is counted. So sometimes it's not completely accurate, but at least we've got that lap countdown.
Yeah, exactly. So, and hey, it's not those sub 1 second laps that we saw last week. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat those today. We'll see what happens.
Not without their rough DeLorean.
Yeah. Oh, very rough for Space Chameleon. They're getting a black screen at the moment. So this is presumably on Logan. So may have some problems getting back into the game. I don't recall, unfortunately, what team was Space Chameleon the pilot for? For the Rumblebees. So that's the Scorpius. Scorpius having some issues. So if they're unable to get back in, that might be it for them today, unfortunately.
Well, and if Space Chameleon's out, then of course that leaves Turbor and the Happy Haulers. Turbor with the Hurricane, and the Happy Haulers coming in behind. It's going to be an interesting contest between those two. That Freelancer Doer coming in. Where are they at? Position number 9.
Yeah. So 9.
Yeah. Happy Haulers at position 9, making up some time. They're ahead of the Rumblebees, and of course Quelsar a couple of laps behind them, recovering from his crash earlier in the race.
Yeah, definitely. Also, it looks like Scuttled got back into the race pretty recently and is now essentially on par with Frozen still. So Frozen wasn't able to get as much of a distance as they may have wanted into second place. Plus, Dunk still a solid 10 laps ahead.
Got a report of some server issues currently. So we'll be keeping an eye out on server performance. That is going to be one of the other wildcard factors going into this race, is that not only do you have to fight against the other contenders with their distortion weapons, we're potentially causing some server hiccups here, getting maybe hitting those ram slots with a little bit of distortion damage on that side.
One of the classic things about racing in Star Citizen is the race against servers. One of the hardest things to fight. Now,
have you prayed to Chris Roberts today? That's the number one question.
Now, I had a thought earlier. So we got to see Team CIG last week perform in the Hammerhead class. And obviously this week we had the event come out for the F8C and the platinum tickets if you kill CIG devs. Imagine if they had to compete today. I would assume that the devs just either would not, or they just give themselves invulnerability at this stage. It'd be very funny to watch all of the other races come in together just to fight that Hammerhead. Everyone grab a platinum.
Well, and from the sounds of it, the F8C, it's the hot ticket right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is popping off. It's got such a good turn rate, such a good rotation rate. It is fantastic in atmosphere and space. It has a lot of firepower. It is tanky as anything.
Yeah,
it is super tanky. So it's been very, very powerful. We'll see what happens with it. A lot of people are saying a nerf is likely. I won't predict anything because I don't know enough. Lots of good shots on these hammerheads at the moment.
Brilliant there. So I'm excited about the F8C as someone who's had it sitting in my hangar for a couple of months now, kind of hitting that mark. It's been pretty seeing the announcement of it coming out, being able to actually get in and put some seat time behind it now has me really excited. We're going to get out there and obviously everyone and their dog trying to get those golden tickets this week. And of course, those platinum tickets being the one you really want to get after, giving you access to an LTI F8C if you're able to secure that.
Yeah. Now, an update just then from Scuttled. So still just behind Frozen, but managed to gain 4 seconds on the lead that Frozen had, literally right behind them right now. Assuming no issues, I feel like Scuttled probably going to get past Frozen, get back into second place position, and then maybe hold it. Like I said, these Fury LXs are just insanely fast. They're insanely mobile. They're hard to beat. And there we go. Scuttled completing 35th lap before Frozen, couple of seconds ahead. Yeah. Frozen, you're going to have to pull something quick.
Yeah. And you know what? Frozen bringing up the line there, still fighting for second place, not exactly being eliminated because Dirk and Scuttle are on the same team. Frozen coming in there with Quelsar, his backup. Quelsar obviously suffering a crash on the early run. Now, beyond that, from Turbor Corporation, we've got Corvinus and Zorian. Zorian coming up just behind there with that the Turbor duo. So, Turbor turret class. Yeah. Words are hard.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to say, Turbo Corporation for the turret class currently, how does math work? 18 laps ahead. 18 laps ahead of Happy Haulers in the turret division, and we're approaching the 30-minute mark anytime now. I don't think it's possible, really, for them to lose unless they crash and are just not able to get back into the race at this stage. They have had a huge lead in this division.
And it's not out of the picture. Obviously, there are server issues. We've seen people coming in with black screens. But yes, Turbor ahead. We have the Happy Haulers coming up next. And it looks like the Rumblebees about 11 laps behind. So the Rumblebees obviously trying to make some noise there. That's going to be Space Chameleon with Captain Nicole. So Space Chameleon having issues getting back into the server. Hopefully they're able to get rejoined.
And there we go. Frozen, who was fighting for that second place spot, has exploded. Unsure of reason. It'll be very interesting to find out what happened there, but that is going to cost them. And that is brutal. They were on such a tight fight with Scuttled for the last maybe 15 minutes or so. Very rough.
And, there is an 8-lap cushion they have with Zorian coming up behind. Are they going to be able to get reset within those 8 laps? Right? Can they get out, establish position, and maybe bring up some of that time? Zorian with the Hornet Ghost, maybe a little bit less of the speed factor. And there we see the Freelancer Dur coming in right up in the main screen, getting some shots towards it from that Hammerhead. Staying just out of range, though.
Mean. That's just don't shoot the Freelancer. Speaking of the Hammerheads, though, so far no collisions from the Hammerheads. They've all been able to stay within the few laps that they do. But Sanguis Luna has extended that 3-lap lead to a 4-lap lead now, while Sire Imperium and Turbo Corporation still right on top of each other and have been for the last 10-20 minutes. Anything can happen between them, and then if we do see a collision, like we saw a lot of collisions with the Hammerheads last week. It could be anyone's game.
And it's obviously going to be about making clean runs, getting through these tight spaces. We watch as these Hammerheads drift around that pylon, just trading shots, and we see some of the smaller fighters coming in, getting their own volley, not leaving those hammerheads unscathed.
One thing that I do love about distortions is the effects just look way cooler than any other way. Look at this. Look at this. It's so pretty. I love it.
That is quite the cinematic view. And yes, the brilliant blue of those distortion weapons. That's actually one of the reasons why I like swapping out when it's available to the NBDs, those repeaters with the blue. I think have some of the best sound design in the game. If I'm gonna shoot something, I'll go for that.
Yeah, definitely. So this is almost certainly Sire Imperium and Turbo Corporation that we're watching right now fight each other. Just based on the times. Maybe I'm wrong. This could be Sanguis Lunar, and there's been obviously quite a lot of lapping happening. But regardless, they're definitely putting a show on for us.
And I think, do we see all three hammerheads there? Making the turns?
Possibly. Yeah, I think we. I can't see the other one, but whoa! Huge trade of shots here. That's a lot of hits.
You gotta believe their shields are hurting right now.
All right, guys, we're about to hit the 30-minute mark. How are we feeling? What are we thinking? Dirk currently on 53 laps, ahead by 10 laps of their teammate, which is Scuttled.
Halfway through.
So,
53 laps, 106. If we can get a good refuel, maybe we'll break the 100 mark today. I don't think we're going to get 120 unless something drastic happens. Dirk has got to pull out some impressive times. Now, today, still having a healthy lead, but as we get into the finale coming up in November, it's going to be tough because the Fury LX is what set that 126 lap record last week. They're going to be facing off head-to-head, both with the Fury LXs. So opting away from any type of damage output, going for pure speed. It's going to be an interesting strategy, and hopefully they can avoid enough of that fire that they don't get messed up.
Yeah, for sure. You're exactly right, by the way. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see 120 laps. A little bit slower than what we were seeing last week, but still consistently fast in general. And I believe that looks like the corpse of a hammerhead.
I think
that is a hammerhead that is merged with an asteroid. Now, was that distortion caused, or just maybe a distracted pilot as we go through these compact turns? Going to be an interesting one. We'll see which crew actually lost it.
I don't know what would be worse if I got killed by the opponent or I was like too focused on them that I accidentally crashed into the asteroid. So I'm hoping that it's some distortion damage, I guess. But that's going to be huge. The question is, who was it? Which we'll find out in a second. Here we go. Probably that was the Power of Thunder. Under Cable 3 wreckage spotted.
Hammerhead crashed.
Turbo Hammerhead crashed. Oh, that is rough for them. They were fighting for their tournament life with Sire Imperium. So that's huge for Sire. Sanguis, not as much competition on the field at the moment for them.
About a 5-lap lead, right? But with refueling, pit stops coming in, that lead could disappear very quickly, especially if you have a hangar that isn't cooperating. If you're stuck behind another ship and you've got to wait half of your pit stop just to have an open hangar behind them, there are limited spots for the Hammerhead to fit at Grimhex. So,
not to mention the server issues we're apparently having at the moment as well. That could definitely hinder it, unfortunately. So, see what happens there. But the biggest thing, once again, with these Hammerheads is more just not crashing. That's where you're going to lose the most time with these guys for sure. And we have a black screen as well. Yikes. That's, I mean, I just talked about we might have server issue problems with them as well. So hopefully
and they are lighting up that freelancer, getting several shots on it. It looks like they're still maneuvering, so no disable yet. But you got to believe shields are offline or very close to it.
I feel like any situation we have with these Hammerheads, other than Hammerhead v Hammerhead, a lot of what these scatterguns are going to do is more turn the tide on other battles that are happening, where we're seeing between like maybe the Scorpius and the Hurricane are trading a bunch of shots. A couple of extra shots from the Hammerhead is going to make a lot of difference, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to take down some of these ships by themselves, although the Freelancer is pretty slow. And literally, as I say it, they've just got like 30 shots solidly on the freelancer. So maybe I'm completely in the wrong.
To be inside one of those ships right now, I just gotta say the engineering gameplay can't come soon enough. I'm just imagining someone like Amos Burton strapped in, holding on as tight as they can, and when it's time to go out, reboot something, give it the percussive maintenance.
Yeah, man, I need to. Why couldn't we get a 7th season of The Expanse?
I know, right? Fantastic show. If you guys have not watched it, get out there. I feel like the Star Citizen community and the Expanse community really have a lot of overlaps. You'll see me wearing, my Pure and Clean shirts. I've got the Rocinante, schematics, and of course, my 3D printed Rocinante up on my display case behind me, making some good representation. So,
yeah. So let's go once again over where we're situated at the moment. So Duncan Scuttled in the lead at the moment for the duo teams, the duo class. Dirk, I believe, 62 laps completed, which is, the Fury Alex is just so fast. I reminded that Scuttled is on the same team as Dirk, so they're more just trying to, make sure that they don't lose that lead. Frozen had that collision a little bit earlier, almost a full 30 laps behind Dirk at this stage. That is a lead that's going to be borderline impossible to get back from, but we've still got 25 minutes. If a bunch of things go right for them, they might be able to pick it up. Turbo Corporation in the turret lead at the moment, and well and truly in the turret lead.
Just had a new collision out there.
Oh, did we? I missed that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at all the. Do we know what it was? Did you get a glance at what ship it was?
I wasn't sure which ship it was out there. I know he'd just gotten some good views of the Rumblebees in that RSI Scorpius. They've been off camera a lot of the morning, and it looks like that could be them passing through here, or maybe it's one of the support ships. We'll have to get an official race announcers alert here for who made that collision. They collided with the pillar.
Ace Nightmare hit the asteroid at the start line, so likely the collision that we saw there. So very rough for them. As we continue going down through, Sanguis Luna, the head of our Hammerhead division, well and truly as well ahead of the other two Hammerheads, a full 10 laps now ahead of Sire Imperium. So, those ships are quite slow. That one also going to be incredibly hard for these guys to pick back up. But we've seen weirder things happen for sure.
Yeah. Now, Ace Nightmare coming in from the Happy Haulers, that was the freelance that we saw collide. So giving the Rumblebees an opportunity to make up sometime. Now, they are significantly behind Turbo Corporation with the duo there. So that we'll need to watch out for. Those folks, obviously, in the Amble Hurricane, we've seen that come across here a couple of times, actually, trying to turn the tide on some of those other fights. Turbo Corporation, both in the turret and the Hammerhead classes, making things happen.
I very much at this stage, like the risk of commentators' curse. I doubt very much at this stage that Turbo Corporation will lose the turret class. And now that I've said that, it is guaranteed they're going to crash next lap. I'm sorry. Yeah. I apologize. But it's just such a massive lead. Now, we know that in the duo class, the ships can go so fast that really any collision could mean the end of your tournament, right? So still some things we could see happen there from Frozen, but it is a hard lead to get back there. But yeah, it looks like, though, Turbo in the Hammerhead division from their collision that happened earlier, they got back pretty quickly. So at least they have that.
Now, you mentioned Frozen and Zorion. Zorion's just, it looks like one lap behind Frozen. Those two are in a battle for third place, right? Or battle for second place, trying to avoid that third place position. So how Frozen and how Zorion can combine together, I think that's gonna be tough. Now we have Quellstar, who's 7 or 8 laps behind those as well. Quellstar coming in, getting a rough start right off of the bat with an early collision, but putting in the laps, making up that time. So we'll need to see how they're able to make do with what they've got.
Yeah,
Duncan Scuttled obviously with a healthy lead within their duo class. Yeah,
we thought the leads that we were seeing last week from playing Fox and Billboy were large, and they were getting some insane lap times, but I don't think we've seen such a massive lap spread lead. You know what I mean? Echo, we're approaching the 20-minute mark left. How you feeling? What are you thinking?
I am not surprised by Dank and Scuttle doing so well. They are pro racers. And Sanguis Lena, a pirate orb, absolutely amazed to see pirate representation out here and racing. Yep. I want to take the Scarlet Apex to Pyro as soon as that comes out. Build a race for more pirate communities and invite Sanguis Lena and some other big names to compete against them. Because they truly deserve a race of their own, and I think Scarlet Apex is going to take us there. So,
we have quite a few announcements coming through. Go ahead. Yeah, a couple of announcements. It looks like we did have a Quelsar ship destruction, or ship collision. Not confirmed if that's a destruction or not. As well, Corvinus was that a 3-minute penalty for skipping the track?
Yeah, they've had a couple of issues through the track. A couple of warnings have come through. So, once again, just something that happens in the course of this, especially with how chaotic it is, for sure. Now, Echo Bear, you mentioned, you want to bring this race to Pyro. So we've been told a little bit that in Pyro, the star is supposed to do some funky things to people's ships every now and then. I think that could be amazing for the Scarlet Apex. It could be extremely cool if we're like, all right, guys, we know that at the 20-minute mark, everyone's engines are turning off for 5 seconds or something. You know what I mean? That could be really interesting. I'm very excited to see that.
That would be so cool. Yeah, so self-distortion, and we might play around with enabling different kinds of weapons. So we might enable missiles, ballistic weapons, lasers, and just see how that plays out. We'll do a lot of testing when we move it to Pyro, and potentially turn it into a no bars, truly outlaw death race.
Yeah, it could be a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. Just a report there, the Rumblebees Space Chameleon reporting black screens. So the Rumblebees may be stuck in that third position for the turret class, behind the Happy Haulers, whose Freelancer crashed just a couple of laps ago.
Yeah. Now, guys, a reminder, as we're approaching the final third, well, we are in the final third of the race now. If you want to support Anzia Racing and the Crux Cup and the Scarlet Apex and the Tofu Run and there's a lot of things, a lot of names under the head now, make sure you buy some of the merch. You go !! merch in the chat and you follow the link and you grab some stuff. And that way you guys can, support all this sort of stuff. We're volunteers here. The only thing I get paid in is forcing Gentleman Jez to buy me a drink at the next Bar Citizen, which I would have done anyway. I didn't have to volunteer to do that. So make sure you support the race and all of the races because that leads to better prizes and stuff in the future as well. So, yeah. Yeah.
And, the prize pool that's up for grabs with these races is fantastic. I think we've got Predator mounts. We've got other sponsors coming through. There are vehicles that are out there. And obviously, the amount of support from not only the community, but folks like EchoBit that help produce the race, all the graphics.
My camera's gone.
Oh, oh my goodness. Was that's gonna end up on the highlight reel? Quite sure. We're switching to backups now.
Lovely. Continue,
Yeah. So, obviously, the support, the level of effort that EchoBit goes and puts into these races, making sure that we've got our race profile, our introduction, the prizes that they coordinate with the community, and obviously just the fact that we're out here herding cats like this all day, trying to make sure that the event can go off smoothly. And that's a testament to the amount of effort that EchoBit and Gentleman J and the rest of the support staff within the Anzia Racing community have been delivering. So, obviously, thank you very much for the director, the race timers, our checkpoint observers, and our event security teams.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, everyone.
Appreciate each and every one of you. this whole thing is community driven. It's not possible without you. So if you are interested in racing or any kind of role, like refueling, server security, race timing, you know, you can participate in a race. There's a role for you. All kinds of divisions of your org can come along. So yeah, please sign up, join our Discord, and yeah, find out when the next community racing event is happening.
Yeah. And I just want to comment on this camera angle and the absolute scale that we're seeing these ships as they cruise through this asteroid field, slaloming around those pylons. You see those hammerheads in all their beauty. And we did see the Freelancer back on the track just recently. So hopefully get some movement there. And of course the hammerheads with that wide turnaround the pillar. We'll see what they're able to deliver.
Watching the hammerheads go around those turns that fast is truly terrifying.
Yeah.
Like we didn't get a good angle of it until we really started watching from here of just how fast these guys are coming through. When you're watching the Fury LX and stuff go around that fast, it doesn't matter because it's got that maneuverability. But the hammerheads, they don't. So I'm just scared they're going to crash into everything every turn.
They are completely spending 90% of the race time with a broadside drift just to make it around these corners. And the other thing is giving your turret gunners the positioning. The shot placement is important because those turrets have a limited firing arc. You want to be able to present your firing solution for those turrets, and doing that while trying to navigate through a dense asteroid field and the pylons and the debris and maybe one or two other racers out there. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Now, let's have a look. We got 15 minutes left, guys. A reminder that the way this works is once we get to essentially the 0 mark, we get a white flag to say, hey, this is essentially going to be the last lap, this next one. And then we get the checkered flag for everyone to finish. At the moment, once again, Dunk and Scarlet absolutely crushing it in the solos or the team solos, team duos division. Turbo Corporation in the turret have done 55 laps, which is absolutely bonkers. They are crushing it.
Yeah.
Happy Haulers, their next competition, have done 29 laps. So with 15 minutes left, I think it's pretty safe to call it Turbo Corporation, unless you DQ yourself somehow, which I wouldn't recommend you do. I think you guys are going to be moving ahead. So we're going to be seeing you guys at the championships in a couple weeks' time, 3 weeks' time or so. So congratulations there. And a fantastic performance from you guys. So fast.
Yeah, and there is an intense race going for the duo class, second position between Frozen and Zorian. Zorian just now 3 laps behind Frozen, making up some of that. We've got the Hornet Ghost, we've got the Standard Fury. Those are duking it out right now, while the 2 Fury LXs take up a comfortable lead in the top spot with the overall lead position. And it does look like we have another ship collision from Quelsar. We'll need to see if Quelsar can pull it in, because he's actually only 4 laps behind Zorian. Actually, looks like 6 laps now. 6 laps behind Zorian. So potentially, if Zorian gets knocked out for any reason here, they'll get the and Space Chameleon just past Cable 2, ship dead again. That is going to be Space Chameleon in the Rumblebees.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of issues over the course of today. So, never mind. It is not Rumblebees. That has been corrected. So it is Ace Nightmare. They had a collision just past Cable 2. They're outie. Their ship destroyed. So
and that Freelancer, the Happy Haulers, got to make their mark.
So further in our divisions, so you can see right there, Sanguis Luna in the multi-crew lead by a large margin as well. 17 laps ahead there. It takes quite a long time for these guys, for these hammerheads to complete laps, a little over a minute usually. So I feel like it's pretty safe to say as well there, barring a disqualification. I'm just going to keep always saying that in case, because you never know. I think we'll be seeing them at the championships in a couple weeks' time as well.
12 minutes plus the final lap once the time runs out. So, obviously, if they run a clean run, I think they can secure it. But you need to run that clean run in order to finish it off. It's not over until the fat lady sings, right?
Yeah. Now, that fight that you were mentioning between Frozen and Zorion, it just got a lot worse for Zorion.
Oh, my goodness.
Destroyed. So Frozen very likely to pick up that second place position there, already having the 4-lap lead plus that collision. Unless Frozen has a collision for themselves, they're probably going to lock that one in.
And I feel personally responsible for that one with the commentator's curse there, Zorian. My apologies. We brought it up and it happened.
Why are you so mean, Red? Why do you do this to them?
You know, it's one of my talents.
So as we approach the 10-minute mark, guys, let's get some hype in chat for your favorite teams, regardless of how they've done so far today, because they've all done fantastic in my eyes, coming in and joining the tournament. So some big hype ups. Who are you excited to see cross the finish line? I'm excited to see all the Hammerheads cross the finish line always.
Obviously, Dirk with the Razor LX, I would love, or the Fury LX. I'd love to see what he can do compared to what we saw last week. We had 126 laps from the top position.
Yeah,
I don't think you need that much to win with this group, but if Dirk is moving on, he's going to have to really dial that in. So Dirk there, obviously the multi-crew, the Sanguis Luna coming in with the Hammerhead. I'd like to see them deliver on a clean run, keeping that position with Sire about 17 laps behind and Turbo Corporation about 21 laps behind. Sanguis Luna, it's theirs to lose right now. I think they're going to stay pretty consistent, and I'm excited to see them moving into the finals. Now, Turbo Corporation has an opportunity here. Okay, their Hammerhead is out there. It's in third place for that multi-crew, and perhaps they get in and deliver a little hurt on some of those other racers that are driving some competition for their others. They've got to secure for the turret class. They're obviously going to be out there trying to do the best they can for those Hornet Ghosts. That's, of course, Corvinus and Zorion. Zorion, who's crashed, we're going to see how he can come back in and recover, making that time up on the duo class.
Yeah. Now, in these heats, I'll leave this question to both of you, both Echo and Red. In these heats, when you do have a situation where we've got, right now we've got 2 Turbo teams running and we've got 2 Sanguis Luna teams running, are you thinking a little bit about, trying to essentially teaming, right? Like not shooting your teammates, or are you just going all out? Because I would 100% just go all out anyway. Because I think it's funny when you eliminate your friends from tournaments. But what do you think? I think at the very least, Sanguis Luna, the other team that's there is the Fury LX. So that's not really going to be relevant for them. It's much more of like a turbo thing. Is that a thing that you're considering at all to maybe assist them getting in, or what do you reckon?
Well, I'll let EchoBit take the first on this one.
Yeah, so I would say maybe more randomization, mixing up the heats is what I want to do. This first one, we sort of just had to work around CitizenCon, but I've learned a little bit about that. And next time I want to completely randomize the bracket. So you might not always end up with your org. And that adds... But if you do, you're just getting very lucky. But that adds a lot more randomness and a lot more chaos to the event. I would like to see that. And I think if we design a bigger racetrack at Pyro, we can have a lot more races running at the same time, because our current limitation is the race timing throughput, and we have 4 race timers timing just these races today, because they're doing 30-second laps. But if we can stretch that out to maybe 3 or 4 minutes, then we can have a lot more chaos, a lot more teams running at once in the battlefield, and maybe even increase team counts or experiment with all of that for the next Scarlet Apex.
Yeah, and that is a great call out with the shorter track here. We have a limited number of people, limited number of ships that we can drop in, because, of course, we're going to oversaturate the track. We're going to get too many people out there. It will be a non-stop fight. Now, one thing I want to point out is that Turbo Corporation actually has representation in all 3 classes today. And the discussion here is whether you go and eliminate your friends to have some inter-org rivalry, or if maybe you decide to team up, and as a group, you focus down on, whichever race is going to be the most competitive, trying to secure your friends that spot. It's an interesting one. I honestly feel like the Hammerheads, with the lack of mobility, is less of a factor there. But obviously, you want to prioritize targets. It helps to coordinate as a group if you are looking for a specific player or ship that you want to help disable. I think that's a good strategy, but obviously only doable right now where you got multiple representations across the various classes.
Yeah, I do want to say I think one of the best things about this style of race is it is kind of almost a mix between your regular, like, just do as many laps as you can, your cross cup style, and like a fleet battle almost, which is just, it's a super unique way of racing, but it also means a bunch of organizations that normally would not do racing get to show off their skills in a cool way. So that's one thing that I've really loved about this. Now there we go, we have our first sub 1 second lap of the day from Dern.
Light speed laps,
Breaking
so
the laws
probably
of
just
physics.
counting laps at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, no, Ekabit, you're wrong. They actually are just going that fast. They're just that good.
Yep. Like I said,
I believe you,
you'll get it with the DeLorean.
GG.
We'll see the video replay of that whole thing coming up later on.
It's just 2 frames.
Yep. Oh, we get this fantastic view with a couple of Hammerheads trying to make that turn, avoiding some of that fire. And obviously, some of those smaller ships zipping around that corner just on the inside. You see the engine trails as they zip along. And, oh, man, these Hammerheads and that battle going on between them. I want more of that close quarter action, you know?
Yep, for sure. Now, Dunk just completing lap number 100 with 4 minutes, 36 seconds left to go. A massive performance from that team at the moment. It's sorting out at the moment for today's heat. As we get towards sort of the end of it, not a lot of close situations that we had last week. Like right, we had Team CRG were right on the back of sort of redeeming themselves at the end of last week. It's the gaps are a lot more significant, I would say, today. So that's going to be interesting when a couple of these teams move on to the championship section, because while the gaps have been more significant, Dirk and Scuttled have not gotten near the laps that were completed by Playing Fox and Billboy. So that's the team they're going to have to compete against, right? So,
well, and we did see a little bit more variety in the ship choices today.
Yes.
In the duo class, we did see the Hornet Ghost. Obviously, last week, the numbers we saw for the Fury LX, it puts down a significant number of laps. We see that right now with Dirk and Scuttled. 8 laps behind for Scuttled, and 25 laps behind for the standard Fury that Frozen and now Quillstar. So Frozen and Quillstar both helping deliver second place for their group there, the Flash Freezers. Well, the Turbor Corporation and the Hornet Ghost with Zorion and Corvinus, they're behind, right? They're out there. I think that's going to be third place. It's hard to see anything changing in the last 3 minutes, but some great racing from everybody. Obviously, Zorion was there, competitive for second place up until that collision knocked him out. So I'm excited to see, the Fury LX. You'll get those, I think next heat number 3, that will still be the favorite. And then barring anything crazy, I think we're going to see 3 classes of duo Fury LXs going into the finale.
Yeah, very likely. And we'll see what happens with next year. I remember we were talking last week about maybe we introduce a rule of you have to have weapons or something, just make it a little bit more chaotic. But I'll tell you what, the Fury LX is definitely selling some ships today. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the Happy Haulers Ace Nightmare crashing at the start finish line. That's probably going to be the final for those guys. I don't see them getting that freelancer back in the next 2 minutes. So,
yeah. At this moment, I'm just curious if Scuttled can hit the 100 lap mark. They're cutting it real close. They got 2 minutes. Takes about 30 seconds for the Fury LX to get, on average, Fury LX to get a lap, right? So maybe they could push it. They could push it just for the bragging rights, Yeah,
good. 100 laps in 1 hour. Fantastic goal to hit. they could very well do it. They are at 96 laps, currently 9 laps behind Dunk, who's just really set the pace today.
Yeah, crazy fast. No, this has been a great day. This has been an awesome heat. I really did enjoy people bringing in some interesting ship choices. We got to see the Freelancer. We got to see the Hornets. We got to watch the Fury LX absolutely crush in space once again. This would be a very different conversation in atmosphere for sure.
And we see that Hammerhead taking some shots at the chase camera vehicle. Target selection there.
If you destroy the chase camera, then they can't confirm that you ever lost. I think that's the idea there. So you can claim ignorance.
We get some great broadside shots
this last
here.
minute. Yeah, maybe we'll see a.
This is the time to just unleash, right? And we're seeing some desync on the server. The servers have not been happy, and we do have a collision there with Gwelsar, who's currently in 5th place, helping secure that second place spot with that is the flash freezers with Frozen.
Yeah, 30 seconds left, guys. Once again, let's get some hype in chat for your favorite competitors that have been competing today and absolutely crushing it in this absolutely awesome event as we get towards the end. Now, once again, we're going to see a white flag followed by a checkered flag, so watch out for that. But for the most part, I think it's safe to say, guys, that we're going to see Dunk and Scuttled take it for Team Sanguis Luna.
Scuttled hits the 100 lap mark. It does happen with like 3 seconds to spare. So he'll get lap number 101.
Hell yeah. Love to see it. Thank you, Scuttled, for making my dream come true. But yeah, Sanguis Luna are likely going to take it for the single seat races. Turbo Corporation going to take it for the turrets. And once again, Sanguis Luna are going to take it for the multi-crew lead. But we'll go to results at the end after everyone finishes up. But congratulations, guys. Fantastic racing, fantastic shooting, and I think we had less collisions than last week, so that's always nice.
Yeah, I think we saw one of those hammerheads merge into an asteroid. Now that I think that was our Turbo Corporation earlier. They've gotten out and recovered, and we do have our first place finish there with Dunk and Frozen. Looks like 3rd place overall in that group. And Scuttled in the 2nd place. Fetacol in the Hurricane coming with the 1st place. Now that Hurricane was pretty quiet throughout the majority of the race, just head down getting the laps in. Power of Thunder coming with that Hammerhead in 3rd place with the Turbo Corporation.
Yep. So everyone's just going to finish their last laps. Once we get all the information, we're going to throw it to EchoBit to give you guys the overview of what happened today. But as we start wrapping up, but once again, thank you very much, competitors. And a reminder, guys, that this is not the end. There is one more heat plus the championships coming that you're not going to want to miss out on because, all of these fantastic races that we've been seeing the last 2 weeks are going to be here again. So, next heat is... Oh, that's the wrong one. Next heat is on, well, for me, the 29th of October. For the most of you, 28th of October, if you're not a cool Australian person like myself and Ekabit. So make sure you come in for that. And then the championships are on November 4th and 5th, guys. So make sure you attend for that as well. Should be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see the top positions from today, move on to that championship. And, a great opportunity. Obviously, taking a break for the next week as we go and everyone enjoys CitizenCon. I know you and I are going to be splitting drinks out there.
Yep.
And, of course, enjoying what CIG and the community can celebrate here with our annual CitizenCon get-together. So, any surprises you saw today?
Unsurprised that the Fury LX did as good as it did. That made a lot of sense. One thing that I was surprised by, I guess, was just the insane lap distance that Sanguis Luna was able to get in front of the other 2 Hammerheads. But it was way closer last week for the 3 Hammerheads. And it wasn't really due to collisions. We just saw them, collisions happened, but we just saw them over the course of the race. We're 4 laps ahead, we're 5 laps ahead. So, it just gradually happened. So it was very cool to watch that amazing performance. What about you, EchoBit?
Again, very excited to see the Hammerheads battling it out, just like pirate ships, but in a futuristic space game, the Star Citizen that we love. I think it was an absolute solid choice for this racing class, and well done to all racers. Turret class felt good. Good to see such variety today. One for endurance, a couple for combat, and also huge variety in duo classes. Really interesting choices, everyone. Yeah, so glad you found a strategy with the new racing class and had a good time with it. Hope you guys all had fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I was excited to see the Hornet Ghosts out there. Whether that firepower would make up for the lack of speed compared to the Fury LX, and it does look like that Fury LX secures it pretty hastily. I would say the best defense just being avoiding the fight, being faster than those bullets.
Yeah, the second that they try to lock onto you, you're already in your next lap. It's just too quick and it's too easy to get out of the way. Which is when I say too easy and too quick, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just makes it the right choice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like flying with a cheat code,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, any moment now, whenever we're ready, Echo Bit, make sure or will interrupt us. Let us know when the
Okay, you got it.
Yeah.
So track is closed out now. Let's have a look at the race results. So for the multi-crew class, we've got Sanguis Lena progressing to the championship. Great job racing today, Sacritus. You absolutely killed it. And congratulations to Sire Imperium and Silver Corporation for surviving this incredibly difficult combat race. You guys did so well. Thank you so much for coming, bringing your orgs and your racing teams. You looked amazing out there. Just the shots we got from Oleg and Taowu Corporation. We're top tier. Best action camera we've had so far, so please come to our events again. And for the next racing class, we have Turret. Congratulations to Taowu Corporation. Very cool. You absolutely smashed it out there in your Hurricane. I know you were tossing out a whole bunch of strategies. You had 6 different ships you were testing, and you really weren't sure which one was going to take it home, but your Hurricane did it. So, yeah, hope to see it again in the championship. Congratulations on your win today, and well done to Happy Horrors, AC3, rocking the Freelancer Dare, going for the endurance strategy. I really respect it. I wasn't expecting much more outside of the more combat heavy ships, but to see you choose something more endurance-y is bold, and I hope you had a lot of fun up there. And good job to the Rumblebees as well. Space Chameleon, this is your first race with us. Thank you so much for coming out. And I hope you had a lot of fun in your Scorpius. With all the chaos that went on, I hope to see you again next time. And for the duo racing class, congratulations to Sanguis Lena. Oh yeah, sorry, Red, you want to say something?
I was gonna just say, don't let your dreams stay memes, right? Get out there and race that cargo ship. Thank you, Ace Nightmare, for representing the cargo racing crew with that Freelancer Dare.
We love you, AC3. So for the duo racing class, congratulations to Sanguis Lena, who also progressed to the championship. Dank and Scuttled, your performance was exceptional today. And the Fury Alex, absolutely incredible to see. Really keen to see you battle it out in the championship against some of the other Fury Alexes we'll see. So, good job. And thank you to Flash Freezers, Taowu Corporation, Frozen and Kelsa, Zorian and Corvinus. Thank you guys so much for coming out, trying your unique strategies. So Flash Freezers were the Furies. They were a mix of speed and weapons. I know you guys put a lot of practice into that, especially Frozen. Multiple streams, I watched them. You put a lot of laps down, and yeah, really good job today. And Taowu Corporation, Zoran and Corvinus going for that full combat strategy. Very interesting that you went full commit for that. But yeah, you got your turret class through. I think that was your strategy, and you supporting Fedical. Yeah, good job. Alright.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well done, guys. Congratulations. Another fantastic day of racing. Heat number 2 done. Feels good. Feels good. There's not much else for us to say. I'll give another quick thank you to all of the organizers and the racers and all of the viewers popping into the brand new Anzia Racing Twitch channel and hanging out and following and whatnot. I've been Crunchy. Red, what do you want to say?
I've been Red Monster SC, and this has been a pleasure. Another heat down, another set of winners. Echo Bit delivering the hand pats there for us. So I think we had a fantastic time. I want to make sure we give a shout out again to the Anzia Racing Ragtag Mercs, supporters of Scarlet Apex, our security team for today. The Ragtag Mercs is a mercenary organization fit for hire. Should you need talent, hire a squad. You need numbers, hire them all. We also want to give a quick shout out to the event staff. We have the race director, Gentleman Jez. We have our race timers, Euro Trucker, Smithy, HBC Valuer, and Sigelian. We have the checkpoint observer, Valter Epic, and of course, that event security, Habanero Sauce, with the Ragtag Mercs leading that up.
Awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Now, remember, we'll be back
Thank
in
you,
2 weeks'
Crossy
time
and
for the next heat. Yeah, sorry, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Echo.
Yeah, no, thank you, Crossy and Red. Without you, it isn't possible either. Really looking forward to Heat 3. Thank you so much, and have fun at CitizenCon, both of you and everyone.
Yeah, definitely. If any of you guys see us at CitizenCon, make sure to say hi. But other than that, that's us. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Have a good one. Keep practicing.
Go Sevens.
See you in 2.
Thank you.